kind words. The first thing I would like to talk to is about the students. You are going to be educators. Be prepared. Nothing ever goes by the book. You're going to have to learn to improvise. You're going to find out some of the things that you have ingrained in your head. I want to do this, I want to do that. You're going to be able to do those things, but you're going to have to, as I said, improvise as you go along. And I want to echo what Sylvia said. Whether you're doing preschool or an 18-year-old, they're all children. Don't let the 17, 18-year-olds fool you. Sometimes the 6 and 7-year-olds can be a mature than 17, 18. Believe me, I teach, I taught high school, world history, U.S. history for 34 years. And it's a challenge every day, and it's something that I've lived for. I've never felt that I've had a job. I've had a calling and a career, and that's how you have to approach this. Do not approach it as a job. It is a calling. It is a passion that you have to be a teacher, because you're going to get tried over and over again. Students will play you. You have to deal with parents on a daily basis, and you're going to come home frustrated and ask yourself, why in the hell am I doing this? But it is a passion. It has to be a passion. And as I said, you get up early. You get up early and you get to work. You're gonna win. You're gonna beat 90% of everybody else that's out there. Because if you see it as a calling, as a passion, then there's nothing in the world that's gonna stop you. Now, I've had mentors in my lifetime. I'm not to say this, but most of them are gone. My 8th grade teacher, Mr. Walker at Del Norte High School. I'm from El Paso. I went to Del Norte, Bel Air, and I came straight to UTEP. Coach Haskins talked me into coming to UTEP. And when I got here, first 2 practices, I wanted to go home and go somewhere else. That is the truth. You know, I didn't like the man. I wanted to go where Mom said, no, you made a decision, you stick by it. And as the weeks and months and years went by, it was the greatest decision I ever made in my life. But my 8th grade teacher, Mr. Walker, he taught me so much, the value of reading, the value of writing, and being creative in your thoughts and your thought process, all of those things. You know, I try to get away, you know, sometimes this is gonna sound strange, but my mentors actually were not coaches per se. My mentors were my teachers. I had teachers. I had a 5th grade teacher. My wife has seen a report card that Ms. Wilkerson, I lived in Germany at the time, said Jim was a great student, he just talks too much. And, which is contrary to what people believe, because usually they say, oh, I don't talk enough. And they say, well, you're soft-spoken, you're a coach. And that's true. I don't do a lot of screaming and yelling and so forth. And that's contrary to what people may think. They think I do, but I don't. Whenever I have something to say to my players, really, it's at halftime, where nobody else can hear. But I've come to the conclusion, as I said, I love my coaches, but it was my teachers that taught me all the things that I needed to do as a teacher. And regardless of what you do, you're going to have to find your own way. You can have mentors and so forth, but eventually you will have to decide the style that you want to use. And that's what you have to do. You have to find your own way. And that goes for everybody in the room. I always tell them, he said it, and I'll repeat it. Some people like to, they want to look good or be good. And I get a lot of that. We want to look real good, but we don't want to put the hard work into being good. And there's a huge difference. I mean, makes a difference between success and failure. People who want to look good fail. People who want to really be good, they work at it. And that's how life is, regardless of what profession you're in. But as I said, most of my mentors were teachers. Unfortunately, most of them are gone. I remember, my wife doesn't know this, my mom said something to me, if you'll notice, I started in 1970, I didn't finish until 79, because I still had this dream of being a basketball player, and I went to Europe and did some things, and then finally she just looked at me and says, you need to just knock it off, come back, get your education. She told me, I'd rather see you dead than not in education, because you can only play basketball for so many years, and she was right. So I took the basketball to another level, and I just coached it. But one of the things that people forget, they don't even know, I've been a coach for a long time. I've been a teacher for just as long. And that's the most important part of what I do is I'm trying to teach kids. And it's not just the subject that you teach. It's the values that you have to instill in those children. I'm talking, I deal with 16, 17, 18-year-olds. You have to instill values into them. We're not talking about brainwashing them. We're just talking about teaching them values, different ethics, what the difference between right and wrong. And as I said, you'll have that opportunity, and you have a lot of power in your hands because they look to you. You may not think they're watching, but they look to you. Just the other day, 2 girls, true story, happened on Monday. 2 young ladies get into a fight. And my old self, I go right in between and try and break this thing up. Not realizing that when 2 girls fight, we got a problem. They don't stop. So I come home, I'm already in bad enough shape. My back hurts, my knee hurts. And I said, well, what happened? I said, well, 2 girls got into a fight. With guys, it's no problem. Funny thing is, both girls were friends. They just got at each other. And those are the kind of things that you don't have scenarios that you'll see, but they will come up, and you have to understand how to deal with those things, everyday things that happen in your lifetime as a teacher, as a coach. So I want to thank everyone, for coming out. I appreciate the kind words and so forth, but as I said, you have a lot of power despite what you may think. Everybody in this room does, because as educators, we have influenced students, hopefully in the right direction, because we also have the